Hello, everybody, and welcome to Silent Podcast, the place where everything but silent. As usual, I'm your host, Isaiah, and we are here to talk about Big Brother 23, everything that's happened post-nomination. Well, nominations haven't even happened yet. So everything that's happened post-elimination episode. Sarah is actually on vacation. She's like 2 hours from me right now, so she cannot be here tonight. She might be here on Monday, but I brought a very special guest with me, good friend of mine, great podcaster, great person. Latonya Starks is here. Latonya, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's so great to be here. This is my first silent podcast endeavor, and it seems like it's taken too long for it to happen. So I'm glad that it's finally happening.
Latonya, I know that you're more into the scripted television world, but today you're going to join me for the reality television world. So
I'm very excited. That's why I started watching Big Brother, was because that's supposed to be my ease into the reality TV show world after, of course, like The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, which are just dumpster fires of TV shows.
See, it's only crazy because what? I remember me, you, Mari, and Chappelle, we were about to make a draft. And then I forget what stopped us, but it was just like a whole
it was a scheduling thing. Like there were like no one's schedule could get on track, and we were about to draft, and then we hear so the teams, and we're like, great. Wonderful.
But how are you enjoying your first time watching Big Brother, Latonya?
I'm really enjoying it. There are lots of attractive people on this show, which is like, not the only reason to watch the show. Obviously, the strategery is also great. But like, I don't know. I really like this cast. I like the way they have seemed to like bond with each other. They're always playing little games or singing little songs. It's like summer camp, but everybody is out for a lot of money and willing to backstab just about anybody to get it. So it's like my kind of summer camp. Just like fun with multiple competitions is basically my life. So
all right. Well, like I said, we're going to talk about everything that's going on, specifically the last week, because literally it hasn't even been 24 hours since like the new
HOH. Seriously.
So we're kind of jumping into things as we speak. On my TV, there's feeds right now. So I mean, we can dip into that a little bit, but it's kind of hard to even talk about feeds right now, so it's kind of chaotic. But we're going to talk a lot about what happened yesterday. So last time we were here, we were figuring out that, basically Christian was on the block. He was getting blindsided, whatever. Honestly, this week was kind of chaotic, and I guess what I wanted to do with you, Latonya, is we can go down every player there's left in the game, and we could just talk about how we think they're doing in the game. Are you done for that?
That sounds great. Let's do it.
All right. So obviously Christian's out. We're not going to talk about him.
Yeah, and he seemed like a nice, unproblematic boy.
Compared to everybody else, I completely agree.
He just wanted to make out with Alyssa, right? That's her name. The other thing is that I'm so bad at learning the names of people that I don't want to win things.
I can give you a description, and I'll show you a picture of them.
I think I got it because they showed like everyone's picture again for the voting, like the part that we're supposed to be doing again. I watched this morning because I fell asleep like a child at 6 p.m. yesterday.
I had to literally watch it while I was at work yesterday, so we're in the same boat.
I can't say that I would want a job where I just think it's very fascinating how everyone's able to get away from their jobs to go watch Big Brother.
See, I can't really watch. See, I'm slick. I listen to it with my Bluetooth earphones while I'm working. Okay. I can't really like visually watch it. I'm like, I can listen to it.
Yeah,
like, I don't really need
you
to
get
see
the gist.
Faces. Yeah.
Some faces you need to see. I mean, come on.
Some of them.
Some of them you need to see.
I agree. So the first person I guess we could talk about is Tiffany, because I think Tiffany's going to take up a lot of the convo.
Oh my God, I love her so much.
She's fine. I really like her too.
I really love the energy that she's brought into the house, where she was just like, you know what? I'm a mom, so this is probably like my show when I get time off. Like I watch this show and like think about what I would do in these situations. And now I'm here and I don't care who likes it, who doesn't like it, who has a problem with it. I'm going to do me, and I'm going to actually compete on this competition show. Like the rest of you all are trying to like hook up or like, whatever. I'm going to actually compete on this competition show. I respect the hell out of it. I'm just worried that she's put a huge target on her back. I know that she's in so many smaller alliances to save herself in case for some reason there's like a coup and the cookout turns on her. Because we've seen that there's some dissension in the ranks there.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to talk about. But like, you can't be a Black woman doing that much work and not have people with targets on your back. You just can't be.
I agree. And I think Tiffany, honestly, in my book, I think that right now she's kind of still in her fan phase where she really wants to play the game. I think that she had the right idea last week. I just think that she did it a little too early. And I mean, granted, if she gets Britney's vote, which she almost did, she could have pulled it off. Yeah. But I think the ramifications of almost pulling off that blindside last week could have hurt her in the long term.
Yeah.
I will say, because you haven't watched V, you don't watch V, that's fine. It seems like, at least in this morning, her and Azah have made up.
That's good.
It seems like her and Derek F have at least spoken. So, maybe they're, reeling it back in. So maybe she'll be fine. But at least that's always going to be in the back of their mind that she tried to do this. And,
yeah, but like,
people are going to be like,
it was a sound possible flip-flop. It was sound decision making. She had someone there who was gonna have her back regardless, and if he wasn't, then he knew that was it for him, because the entire house would immediately turn on him if he wasn't loyal and stayed true to his word. We don't know, in my opinion, what we're getting with a Sarah Beth. I think that she's one of the most like unknown quantities of this game. We know that she has a showmance. We know that she makes up creepy songs and then looks directly into the camera after singing them. But like, this woman is like a forensic pathologist. She has some like tricks up her sleeves. She's too much of an unknown.
Is. She's a wild card.
She's a wild card, and she's the type of person who would try to like foment insurrection and come after somebody like Tiffany because she's got a member of the cookout on her side.
So, with Tiffany, I think she'll be fine for the short term. I do think we'll talk about the cookout in a second, but I do think at least in the structure of the cookout, I do think her, Kyland, Xavier, and Hannah, they truly do want to go to the 6. I think Azah and Derek F can be very spotty at times, but I do think that she is loyal to the cookout. My fear for her is that is she going to be at the bottom of that?
I know.
So
after all this work.
Exactly. So I'm worried for her, but I do think that she'll be fine for a couple more rounds before people try to actively take shots at her.
Yeah, I hope so.
It looks like Kylan's getting called to the diary room, so we might be getting nom soon while we're podcasting. But anyway.
Oh, wow.
So,
wait, who's the new HOH? Was that decided in the?
You want spoilers?
Well, was it already decided in the feeds, and I just didn't see it? Yeah. If other people know what it is, I don't want to spoil it for like listeners. Or watchers, because I guess they're.
If you're watching this, then you're watching feeds.
Okay.
So Kylan got the HOH, but when we get to Kylan's spot, we'll talk. We can talk about him now. Why not?
That's interesting. No, we can go in the order. Anticipation's fun. We can go in the order that you have.
We're going based off of the tier list that we made last week, which is completely different. I'm going to wait till next week to update it, but So the next person we have is Xavier, for who was playing the best game at the time, and I think Xavier is still in this position where he wants to play the middle. I think he's the glue that's keeping the cookout together. But he's also like Alyssa's his +1. But I think where we're at in the game, it's just the cookout and then everyone's +1s.
Yeah.
So you can't really afford to push hard for like your +1 to stay in this area of the game, in my opinion, because if you are seeing more loyal to these people instead of the cookout, it's going to be a bad look.
It's going to be a really bad look. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think
Especially when you have the numbers like the Cookout has.
exactly. And I think what I'm seeing is Kylan and X are kind of trying to look out for each other's plus ones. Like they're trying to keep Sarah, Beth, and Alyssa safe. But I don't know if that's going to really work out. And I mean, it's not the wrong call for Kylan per se, which, like I said, I'm going to save a lot of talk about him for his area. But Xavier, at least, I think X, honestly, what he needs to do is just stay out the way. Just
Yeah.
wait a couple more rounds, and then he can. I think when it's like just the cookout, I think that's the point where you take the dominant position. You know, like I think
Right.
he's close with Hannah and Tiff.
Hmm.
I think Kylan respects him, and I think Azza has a soft spot for him. So I mean, I think he can do what he does best if he makes it there.
Didn't she just straight out admit that she had a crush on him?
That's it. There you go.
I mean, I love that the euphemism and everything of calling it a soft spot, but you know, she, like the rest of us, can see him. Yeah, so he's great just because he's been pretty silent. Like the only thing that he's been vocal about is like, can you stop calling people bitches? Like, don't call women a bitch. Like that's his platform.
Derek F, man, he's at the. I'm gonna just let you know he's at the very bottom of the convo because he has the worst game. But I got some words for him when we get to him.
Yeah, I'm actively upset with a person that I don't even know.
Yeah, that's how you see. This is your first season of Big Brother. It's gonna get like that. Trust me, you're gonna be like, I feel like I know these people.
I know. How dare you? First question, how dare you? Second question, what gives you the right?
He's such a mess. Like I hate him so. I'm so sorry. So next is Derek X. He did just pull off the blind side.
Yeah.
So good for him. I think he's in a pretty good position where I think a lot of people trust the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people want to make sure, a lot of people want him to be like one of the last plus ones to leave. I personally think that's a huge mistake. Because the guy is likable.
He's really good at the game.
He's really good at the game. He knows
can
how
do
to
the physical stuff.
He can win the mental comps.
He's got like ballet legs.
And then even with these twists, I think he could win one of these America Powers that they just talked about last night.
The new room, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. The high roller room.
That sounds like the dumbest invention. At some point, can we talk about just like kind of the issues I have with this show?
Oh, I would love to talk about.
Okay.
I mean, you could talk about them right now if you want.
So first of all, Julie Chen Moonves.
This is a popular opinion, and you haven't even said anything specific.
What do you need to say? The woman has the personality of a dish rag, and she's like hosting this show about like with all these people who are high energy, and she signs off with peace, love, and justice. What is she like? Been watching old episodes of Soul Train? I don't understand why she is the host of this show, other than the other part of her name, Moonves.
So for a while, not to go on for a tangent for a while. I mean, she used to just go by Julie Chen. And,
yeah, I know.
She's been here since this first season, so I think that's why. She was honestly not that bad for a while until her husband's situation, Les Moonves, and the scandal.
And then she decided to back him 100,000% by going fully Julie Chen Moonves. And at that point, I was like, no.
The moment the Les Moonves stuff started happening, she left the talk. Everything, honestly, from that point to now, she's been a very sloppy host.
Yeah.
She keeps like putting all these like weird cryptic messages at the end of the show. I'm Julie Chen Moonves. All this weird stuff. She just kind of fell off since then. I don't know. I
didn't really pay much attention to her until I noticed that she was the type of woman who was gonna like really stand by her man. And in the most let's not stand by the men situation possible. And then I was like, and then I just started to attribute all of this other stuff to her quote unquote character that may or may not be true. But I'm not a big fan of her as the host of this show. There are a lot of shows that I watch lately that I'm like not like a huge fan of the host of the show though.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's part of it. Also, why do they have sound issues? Aren't they just on a sound stage and
Big
they
Brother
can
is
never
sloppy.
hear her?
I don't know what's the issue. I think because I've noticed that too with the more recent seasons, there's been a lot of technical issues. I remember last year, there was a whole double eviction competition, and I mean, no, triple eviction. It was the first time ever, and literally they were like, all right, we're going to do the triple eviction, but we're not going to tell the house guests. We're going to make them wait a little bit longer. And then the TV comes on and it says triple eviction. And they're like, oh my God.
Really?
Like, I think, honestly, because they didn't really have these tech issues back then. I think it's because they keep updating the stage. They keep updating the setup. They update everything almost every few years, but recently they've been doing it like every season.
Yeah.
So
they've had no time to test any of it.
But and I also think because of COVID, they've had like less prod and all that. Regardless, this is like a very one of CBS's most expensive shows. I don't understand why they're having all these issues. Honestly, it doesn't make any sense.
So I mean, those aren't like big gripes, but they are there.
those are solid though. Those are solid takes because I feel the same way.
They're not huge, but like they are definitely there. Whenever I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, someone's gonna say we can't hear you when you're talking about something very important. And I guess the last thing is, and I'm sure next week I'll be like, oh, I love the High Roller Room, but right now I'm just like, this is dumb. This is a dumb concept.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
I mean,
it's for viewers. Like it's the whole point is to get more people to tune in so that they feel like they have a stake in the show and like democracy or whatever. But that's not really what this is at all. There's still games of chance in there. It's just the money to play those games. And then like a sneak preview of the popularity contest that is winning like overall, like what is the person who wins the award at the end of the season, basically for most liked person. The award that Davon won last year.
It's America's favorite player.
Okay.
The thing with this is that yeah, it's stupid. The Big Brother has never really been good with making twists. We've seen them do like a hacker competition, Battle of the Block, the BB App Store. Like I don't know what production's obsession is with throwing random powers in the game, because honestly, in my opinion, I think this cast is good enough that they don't need all these random powers.
You don't need more bells and whistles when you have people this dynamic.
Exactly. Like I think we saw this in Big Brother 20, where they try to throw a lot of advantages in the game, and every single one of them flopped. And I think since they all flopped, that the players got to play the game that they actually wanted to play, and it was very fun to watch the first half. And then they threw a random comp in, like they are doing now, the second half, and then the rest of the season sucked. I'm scared that this season is going to throw more OP advantages in the game, and then it's just going to ruin everything. Like I just hope that. I went on a whole rant last week, so I'm not going to do this again. Okay. But I really just hope the Prod doesn't screw this up. I really just hope that they don't. So it scares me. But yeah, I agree with that too. I'm not the biggest fan of the High Roller Room. I'm still kind of confused. I don't know why they chose to do text this time. It gives me very open for rigginess, because it's like at least beforehand it was on the website. They've also done it via hashtag on Twitter. This time you're doing it by text. It's a little weird. So I don't know why. Very
The Voice.
Yeah, it's like you're hiding it. And I don't know. I don't like that. But there you go for that. So I mean, I guess we could talk about who else, because I think we already spoke about DX. Kylan. I mean, we could talk about him real quick. I think Kai, honestly, I'm the feeds. I'm scared for this guy because like he didn't need to win this one. And it seemed like he pushed hard for this one.
Yeah.
With that being said, he's playing very messy right now.
Yeah, he is, because he's just playing, and I'm sure that this is a sort of loyalty, but he's more loyal to Sarah Beth than he is to anybody else in the house, including his alliances. Like,
I mean, allegedly,
allegedly, yes, but also like just the actions are there.
Yeah.
I would, it would be like a massive hit if he tried to turn on the cookout. I don't know if he would go that far, but you know, whatever other side deals he's made seem like they're superfluous now because of his whole connection with Sarah Beth. And I understand, like, sometimes you meet people and you get like caught up in it, and that person is like your only person, especially if you're going through a stressful competition situation where you don't even have your own bathroom. You know, it's like summer camp. There are going to be hookups. It's just like about keeping them in the context of the summer.
It's honestly, I'm afraid for the dude because I think what you said is correct. I think this is probably should be one of the easier weeks to win HOH because I think you put up either Alyssa, Sarah Beth, or Claire, and then just target one of them. And then if one comes off, you put the other one up. But the way he's doing it, I mean, he's targeting Claire right now.
Why?
I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like, I think it's smart to get Claire out because I think she's a threat.
She's definitely a threat, but like for now.
Well, I think if he wants to take her out, you backdoor her, but he's putting her. I think he's planning in a few minutes to put her straight on the block with Derek F. And I don't think that's the right call because I think you should be just get Alyssa out. No one's going to. I mean, I think Xavier is the only one who wants Alyssa in the game. And I think him and Xavier might have cut some deal to keep Sarah Beth and Alyssa in. I think Alyssa is the right call because then they keep certain people off your back. But at the end of the day, if Claire won, she was going to put up Kylan and Sarah Beth. So, I mean, like, I get it. I just think that the way he's doing it is not the best. And I think that it could come back and blow up in his face. I know Derek X was questioning it. Tiffany was questioning it. A lot of people are questioning it. I know he pissed off Azah and Derek F allegedly during the comp because he put them up against each other. So it's like... It's very messy. It's only been a couple hours and he's just having a super messy HOH. So I don't know how to feel about Kylan right now.
Is he still making those sandwiches though?
I think no. He's about to make his noms. They called him to the DR. But oh my god. if he's about to get noms that are like make a sandwich. Like yeah, that would be so funny. Oh my god. He's about to make noms. The first nom is nope, make a sandwich.
Nope, make a sandwich. Sorry. I'm hungry.
Oh man. But yeah, I'm scared for the dude. Honestly, I don't think that he's making any friends doing this, and I think that it's going to blow up in his face.
Yeah, I'm not. You know, he's very pretty. I don't know. I'm in one of those like. Do you remember that interview where people were asking Aretha Franklin what she thought of other artists, and she just had some like just some magical comebacks? Like when they asked her about Taylor Swift, she was like, "Great gowns, love the gowns." That's generally how I feel about Kylan. Like I don't think that he's as big of a force of change as he believes that he is, and he's going to end up alienating people who have really been doing the work.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't think going out like straight out for Claire in this situation is the best move. But, you know, maybe it works out for him, but it definitely loses him a lot of political capital later in the game.
I agree. So I'm worried about him. We're going to see. I know a lot of people don't like the idea of him doing that, but we're going to find out. Just to get rid of some of the easy ones. I mean, Hannah. She's honestly, I think she's playing the best game. Personally,
Hannah's fantastic. Do people even know that she's not a stylist, like a fashion student yet?
No, not at all.
Like the reason I love her so much is because this is the way I would approach the game. I would totally make up like some career that would let people either like put me in way high esteem or just underestimate me and like look completely past me. Like I noticed that she's still doing all of the mannerisms that she's like, you know, method acting right now.
She's doing great.
She's doing great.
It's crazy. It. She's doing what X wants to do, where he's like lying, saying he's not a lawyer. And everyone's like, last night, Kyla was like, so are you going to tell me what you really are? And he's like, I already told you what I. like people don't believe this guy, and it's so funny. No, she's doing great. I think it's awesome that Derek X is also doing great because I think in the list of plus ones, I think Derek X is like one of the last plus ones people want to get rid of.
Yeah,
which is a huge mistake. But yeah,
it's a giant mistake because he could win this whole thing, and it's like no one's paying attention.
They're not, so they need to keep him a lot. But I mean, I think it's good for him. I think she's doing a great job. I think she has the most solidified deals with the power players like X, Tiff, DX. I think that really she could be set up to do well if she makes it to the distance. So we'll see about her. Like I said, Claire is in danger.
Yeah.
She might be leaving this week. The feeds just went off, so she might be getting nominated in a few minutes. But Claire, honestly, I like Claire. I think the issue with her is that she had 2 weeks of safety to make a lot of deals to make some real damage in the house, and she did not take advantage of her position.
Yeah.
So it's like, ooh, like I'm not shocked you're going on the block. Is it the right move? No, but I'm not surprised because you didn't really cut deals with people, other than like Tiffany and the people you've been talking to. So I'm scared for her. I don't know.
And the amount of people that she doesn't trust are the exact amount of people that could get her voted off.
Mm-hmm.
So exactly. I think that like her way of playing the game is to only make deals with people that she absolutely can trust, when you can't really trust anyone, first of all. And second of all, you sometimes need those backdoor deals because if people do end up flip-flopping, then that's some stuff that you can point to later to show how like you don't need these people around. They're never going to be loyal. They said they were going to do X, Y, and Z, and then they failed each time, and we all saw it. So at least like set them up in that way, even if you're not planning on making a real deal with them. Like set them up to show themselves as false so that no one else relies on their deals with them either. And then they replace you as the people who go up.
Exactly. So,
no one's willing to do the work except Tiffany and Hannah.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. I mean, Kylan's sort of willing. He's just not doing it right.
Yeah, he's just doing a bad job.
And I think X is, I think X is literally just like, I'm going to let everyone target each other. I'm gonna just sit back and I'm gonna just mind my business.
Yeah.
So it's a good strategy as well. I think is going to benefit him later. But there's Claire. We already talked about Sarah Beth, really. So I mean, there's not much to talk about. But like, I think she's leaving next week. Like, I mean, come on now. I don't.
Yeah, I'm not really seeing like what she's contributing.
No, not at all. Like, other than Kylan, there's not much there.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe she does still have a bond with Alyssa and X, sort of, so maybe there's something there, but like I don't see her winning or doing anything. Like, I see her going within the next 2 weeks, so if not this week. So we'll see. But lastly is the D tiers that I had listed, which is Azah.
How did we go from so much promise with Azah? Like, I was so excited when I first saw her, just like her picture and her biography and all that stuff at the beginning. How did we get here?
I mean, here's the crazy thing. Azah can still win. I mean, it's not in the dirt yet. So I mean, I think it's good that she's in the cookout. I think she's close to Derek F. I think Tiffany would. I mean, I don't think she's in Tiffany's long-term plans, but like they have like a sister thing going on, and I mean, I'm just like, I still can see Azah doing something. She has the tools that she needs to do it, but the issue with Tiff is that, I mean, the issue with Azah is that she, as well as Derek F., which we'll talk about, and as well as Tiffany, are very emotional players. And the issue with that is that they make a lot of their decisions based on their emotions. Like, during Kylan's little sit down with every person he did like 30 minutes ago, everyone was like giving him tidbits of stuff, or at least something to work with. Azah's just sitting there like, I don't have a strong opinion on that. He's like, oh, well, who do you want to target? I don't have a strong opinion on that.
I have no strong opinion.
Who do you think is the safest? I don't have a strong. She literally just said, I don't have a strong opinion on that. I'm like, that's funny. Like I was laughing, but I'm like, ooh, like he could put you up as a pawn, like if you really wanted to. So
yeah, it's about time to start having some opinions about things.
I agree.
That's my advice.
I think she has opinions on it. I just think that she doesn't want to tell him. She's pissed off at Kyle. Like I think she has an idea what she wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think the social game is kind of spotty because she gets in fights a lot. And I think I'm just very worried for her, but I do think that she can, there's still a percentage that she can win. So I'm not all out on Azah yet.
Neither am I. But she needs to divorce herself a little bit from, I'm blanking on his name.
Derek F.
Yeah.
Well, I think she needs to divorce herself from Brittany. Like, I think that she's too willing going to block for this girl.
Which one's Brittany? Oh, yeah.
The rap girl.
Yeah. Yes. The one who, like, has the biggest meltdowns every time she's nominated. Like, I cannot say how I would react in a pressure situation right now. You know, there's like still a global pandemic and no one is doing great. But I don't know if just like the abjection, like just the tears out of nowhere, like in huge quantities would happen every single time I got nominated.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just, yeah.
it's quizzical. I don't know, but
because when you said her name, I was like, "Who? Oh, the one that cries all the time." And there's nothing wrong with being a woman or any person that cries all the time. It's just the thing that I've noticed most about her, because I haven't gotten too much else from her except for like trying to fight to stay in the game.
Yeah, I mean Brittany. I mean, because she's next on the list actually. Brittany, honestly, she's a foot soldier. And I think people just need her for her vote. Like, I other than Derek X, I can see Brittany being the last person to be the plus one to leave. I mean, other than like Azah and Derek F being like her professional bodyguard.
Yeah, can we talk about that weird moment for a second? Like, why are you doing that? Like, what is the point of that? This is the way that the game is played. If somebody says that they want to speak to somebody, then they should get to speak to that person. Like, she didn't ask you to come be her bodyguard. Yes, that she would have changed the vote. Yes, that would have flipped the house. Sure. Mm-hmm. But like, what would have been the big deal? We would have had Sarah Beth out a week earlier than maybe she's going out. And then you would have had a player that would have been loyal to you until you didn't need him anymore.
Honestly, I'm gonna give a hot take. I actually thought that was very smart, to be honest. I don't like it. I think them going up with Brittany was actually a huge power move, to be honest. Because if they didn't, here's why. Okay. If they didn't, then Sarah Beth honestly would have left this week. And I think at least with Azah in Derek F, I don't think Christian almost put Azah on the block during his HOH. So I do think that it was smart for them personally in the moment to be like, Tiffany, what are you doing? Let's shut it down. Because if Christian
but they didn't do that they didn't do it. I have like, there's a way that you do things kind of thing.
That's what I was going to say. Like, I think it was the right idea, wrong execution now. Yeah. Like, they didn't need to stomp up there and cause all this havoc. They could have waited till after they spoke and then go up and be like, Tiffany, what are you trying to do?
Like what are you doing? Yeah, let's have a conversation.
You need to do that in front of the whole house.
In front of everybody. That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
It was embarrassing. It makes you look like there's cracks.
It makes it look like there's an alliance.
Yeah.
Like it's just bad, So I think right idea, wrong execution. That was my issue.
Is this the motto of the season of the show?
Yes. Actually. But I mean, hey, look, if Brittany has people that willing to go hard for her, maybe she's doing something right. And like, she won a veto. So I mean, she's the only girl to win a competition this season. So far.
Good for her. That's why I said that's why I was saying, like, she battled back.
Yeah.
So good for her. Like, twice she's battled back. I wouldn't take her for granted in a competition.
No.
She's just one of those people that you can tell has been the underdog, and like, you don't mess with underdogs.
You don't, especially really don't. Underdogs with experience.
Yeah,
never. So, There you go for Brittany. The last two, so it's Alyssa. Honestly, without Christian, I mean, I think Alyssa has like space to move, but like other than like X, like I don't really see what Alyssa's path is to the end.
I don't know anything about Alyssa, which I feel like is a problem.
No, I mean at this point, I mean she has a good strategic mind, but like I think her game is completely reset now that Christian's gone, and she has to start from scratch. I think that's the issue.
Yeah.
She doesn't at this moment really have much to work with. She just has to do a complete reset. So, yeah, I mean, other than Xavier protecting her, I don't really know what else she has going for her. And
yeah,
yeah,
it's sad. She seems nice.
Yeah,
she seems like a nice person. Lovely gowns.
And then lastly, we got Derek F. The things I could say about this guy. Let's see. I agree with you. I think I don't. Well, first of all, on the personal side, I don't like the way he speaks about Tiff. In general, like I don't know, it just kind of rubs me the wrong way.
Just don't like it. I don't like it at all, and it really bothers me. And he's been told that it bothers other people in the house, like that he should stop, and he still does it, and nobody, like hardly anybody, like says anything to him about it.
Honestly, I remember X used to check him all the time.
Yeah, that's what I meant by hardly anybody, because he wasn't gonna stop. Like he kept saying, "I'm sorry," but he won't stop. He seems like the type of person who is like there for a good time and like raising hell a little bit more than he's there to like win the competition.
Yeah.
And if that means like causing spats within the alliance that are going to expose the alliance, then that makes him a liability to me. Like you get to a point where you can only like handle somebody being a loose cannon for so long before you just have to pull the trigger. And like, I guess in this case, you wouldn't pull a trigger, you would like deactivate the cannon, but you remove ball from cannon. Like he needs to either calm down or he needs to go.
Exactly. And it's like, like I do think he's still loyal to the cookout. I
hope so.
The only thing that worries me, he was like, and Azah said this too, I don't think she really meant it though, but he was like, oh, if it's like Brittany and Azah on the block, if it's Tiffany and Brittany on the block, if it's Tiffany for anyone, Tiffany needs to go. I'm just like, are you that emotional about this? Like,
yes. And the answer is yes. Like,
it's weird.
I'm sorry if it's like he views her as an overbearing mother, which is like, maybe, but she's not your mother. And she's playing the game that you all left your homes to come and play.
Come play it.
Like, come play the game. Like, try to best her in that way. Oh, you can't? So you're just gonna like go into your little hole and like have maybe two other people there and hold court and talk shit about a woman? Like, what is wrong with you? Just don't do it.
I'm in the camp where I want the cookout to do well, but at the same time, personally, this is the first time ever that Black people have gotten the opportunity to play the game for what it is, and I want them to all play this time like it's like their last time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so and like lift each other up while doing that. Exactly. And if you have an active problem with me, this is like my philosophy. If you have a problem with me, don't hold court talking about me behind my back, because I will find out. Yeah. Also, but also just say it to my face, because there's literally not anything that I would say behind someone's back that I would not also say to their face, and I've said a lot of stuff. So like, that strikes me as cowardice, honestly. Yeah. And you can't have cowards like on your team. You just can't.
Even in a personal thing, it's like, it's just a game. And it's like, I think, Tiffany's not talking bad about this guy like that. Like, they're going to go home at some point, and she's going to see that episode, and she's going to feel some type of way.
So upset.
And so,
for a second there, I was hoping the editing was leading us to like Tiffany getting like not more ready for bed, but just getting some like inspiration and like
Yeah.
being like, wait, is something, my back is burning. I think my ears are burning. I think someone's talking about me. Just to go downstairs and read them all and then just go right back to sleep. Like that's the type of thing that I expect from Tiffany. Just like being 10 steps ahead of everybody else. I just hope to God that like, I want a Hannah Tiffany final two. That's what I want. I just hope to God that Tiffany hasn't, in doing all the work to assure, like for the culture, that like the cookout stays around, but also working with other people to make sure that she herself is covered in case something goes wrong, that she hasn't put a target on her back just because she so obviously is doing the work.
Yeah. So I'm worried.
Yeah, it's a very worrisome show, and it's on for like 5 minutes on TV, and you're like, "What happened?"
So that's our basic breakdown of everyone. I've seen the comment. Who are the noms? There are cats on the TV, so we don't know yet.
There are cats on the TV.
By the way, that
there's those cats again.
The way that Kylan was making it seemed like he was putting up some combination of Claire with a possible Derek F. I don't know if they're going to, or a possible Claire and Tiffany. So we don't know. It seemed like he was going to do Tiffany, but I think he backed out. I don't think he wants that smoke. So I think he's just going to do Derek F.
Can you imagine? She would just talk him out of it.
Yeah.
Like if she found out, she'd be like, "Oh, you don't need to do that."
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if he put up Claire in Azah either, since Azah didn't give him much. But I do expect Claire on the block, basically. Just expect Claire. So there you have it. That's our breakdown. Or quick little update. Real quick, I thought the deal was that they all made jury and they play their own games because Tiffany isn't getting their deal is just to get to final 6. Honestly,
yeah.
And I feel like 4 out of the 6 members of the cookout are going to follow that. So we'll see. But I expect Claire to go this week. Unless she wins veto, of course, then it's going to get interesting.
Yeah.
But I
kind of hope she wins veto, because outside the cookout, I think Claire might be my favorite. Like, just could come out of a bag. Like, we don't really know what's bubbling inside of that programmer's mind kind of thing.
I agree. Is who's your person that you said you're rooting for right now again? Tiff?
Yeah, and Hannah, both. Okay. Like as a unit, until I have to not root for one for both of them.
Well, okay, there you have it. Latonya, thank you for joining me and being my substitute, Sarah, today.
Thank you, Sarah, for allowing me to be your substitute.
You don't need to thank her for nothing. I hope she doesn't see that. All right, but Latonya, where can people find you? What do you do? What's you up to?
I am just hanging out on Twitter at LK Starks, watching Big Brother. It's like on my DVR, so it's actually a thing that's happening. I'm paying attention to the feeds only as they occur to me on Twitter. So there might come a time nearing the end of the competition where I feel like I'll need to be around the feeds, but then they'll probably turn them off. So yeah, just getting way and more like down the rabbit hole of this show. Gonna be doing some podcasting soon again with post-show recaps. Nothing to report yet definitively, because I have a couple things like happening, but I don't want to talk about it yet. But if you follow me at LK Starks, you'll find everything I'm doing.
All right. And like usual, if you haven't already, follow me at 8Ball Bangers, where you can see me just do a bunch of tweets about Big Brother, anime, and all this other stuff I like to rant about. And if you haven't already, please follow the Silent Podcast channels in social media. They're on the screen right now or also in the description down below. Every little bit helps. So thank you everyone for watching and joining us today. And we will see you guys Monday. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye, everybody.